I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
Golden cooked presents. The night Mexico turned purple. There are certain nights in life that are so wild, so emotional, and so surreal that even the person experiencing them isn't sure if they're really happening or just a dream that happened to feel all too real. And on May 7th, 2026, Mexico City was the epicenter of one such night. A night that left the world asking, what the hell is going on there? The city's normally dark sky transformed into a pulsating purple ocean, as if millions of stars descended to Earth to celebrate something greater than music. From the air, the stadium looked like a giant, beating heart, holding tens of thousands of souls who had waited years for this moment. The moment when the era-rang world tour landed on the most energetic ground on the planet. Outside the stadium, tens of thousands of people who hadn't gotten tickets remained. They stood, praying, singing, and hoping. Some hugged their light sticks, as if they were invisible tickets to the concert. Others simply closed their eyes, letting the night breeze carry the faint sounds of music to them. And even though they were outside, they knew that night would remain a part of their lives. As the stadium lights began to dim, silence suddenly filled the air. That 1 second felt like time had stopped. Then, boom. A visual explosion engulfed the arena, and the intro music roared like a storm just awakened from a long slumber. Thousands of light sticks lit up simultaneously, transforming into a wave of light that invaded every corner of the seats. People weren't just screaming. They were releasing years of pent-up emotion. And amidst the roar, 7 silhouettes appeared on stage. They stood tall, as if they had just returned to thrones that had long awaited their owners. But one thing everyone immediately realized. That night, they were the stars of the concert, but it was ARMY's voices that were the main soundtrack. The stadium's multi-million-dollar sound system sounded small, nearly drowned out by the screams of tens of thousands of people singing every Korean lyric with the confidence of their native language. The pyro rose as high as a building. Fire hissed in the air. Red lights danced wildly, making the stage look like an epic battlefield. But beneath all the sophisticated technology, there was something far simpler and far more precious. The genuine joy on the faces of 7 men who had been through everything together. They weren't upset that their voices were being overshadowed by armies. They were proud. Proud that the love they planted over a decade ago was still alive, now even growing into a forest of light. Then came the moment that left everyone speechless. When Into the Sun began to play, the atmosphere changed completely. The song was already emotional, but that night felt like a prayer being said together. And when Jungkook's verse arrived, something unscripted just happened. V stepped forward and handed him the microphone. Soon after, Jin and RM followed, forming a symbolic circle of protection around the golden magne. The look on their faces was unmistakable. It was the proud gaze of an older brother for a younger sibling who had grown into a legend. Jungkook smiled a little, a smile that usually appears when something truly touches his heart, and then let his voice flow, clear and warm. For a moment, the packed stadium felt like the small practice space they once shared for hours a day. This wasn't a concert. This was family. But the night wasn't finished with its surprises. As soon as the intro to Boy in Love played, the stadium erupted. No one expected the rookie song to return. Veteran army members couldn't help but laugh and cry. And when the stage lights shone on them, thousands of people gasped. The 7 men appeared in bright red shirts and traditional Mexican cowboy hats. And somehow it looked perfect. They danced as if they'd turned back time 10 years. Every sharp move, every precise jump, every look filled with the wild energy of their classic hip-hop days. But then, the real madness broke out. Amidst the intense choreography, Jimin and Jungkook, without warning and without hesitation, lifted their shirts high enough to reveal their trained abs. In an instant, the screams turned into a mini earthquake. Someone swore the stadium floor shook with hysteria. And maybe that wasn't hyperbole. National video? Viral. Fan video? It went viral. Even blurry screenshots of the fan video went viral. The internet was basically on fire. One fan in attendance wrote, "Mexico, thank you. You gave me back the song that made me an army, but in the most iconic version possible." And millions of people felt the same way. The concert wasn't just a global tour. It was proof that the energy between them and ARMY couldn't be broken by time, distance, or the busyness of the world. They gave everything. ARMY gave back 1,000-fold, and the world witnessed a two-way connection no other group could possibly match. As the final fireworks exploded over Mexico City, something felt different. People left with hoarse voices, puffy eyes, and strangely full hearts. Even the next day, the vibrations were still palpable. Fan cams like golden specks scattered across the internet, capturing tiny moments that the human eye might have missed. And from it all, we learned one thing. They remained the same 7 friends, even though the world saw them as global superstars. They never stopped honoring their past, never stopped improving themselves, never stopped loving their fans. And Mexico returned the love in the most magnificent, craziest, and most unforgettable way. So the question now is, if Mexico has already made history, which country is ready to follow? The Arirang World Tour has just begun, and the flame is still burning too bright to be extinguished anytime soon.